Chapter 10, Starky. Starky spends his days working his particular brand of magic, and he knows that the best magic tricks take practice, patience, and very careful misdirection. Undetectable sleight of hand. For more than a month he has not betrayed his ambitions. To have done so would have made Connor suspicious. Instead, he networked among the Holies, studying the alliances, the friendships, and the power structure. And at last, through careful planning, Starky has inserted himself in the right place at the right time to gain Connor's favor without him ever knowing that it was all part of Starky's long-term plan. Now he's in the highest echelon of the graveyard, and although it's only food service, it keeps him in direct contact with all 700 kids. He has more power and more access, and he begins to do things that previously might be thought of as suspicious, but now come with the territory of being one of the Holy of Holies. One afternoon, Starky wanders innocently into the comm-bomb, the graveyard's computer and communication center, which Hayden runs. Its radio equipment was initially designed to pull in and decode enemy frequencies, which it still does, although now the enemy is the National Juvenile Authority. At any given time, it's manned by half a dozen Holies, who have been handpicked by Hayden for their computer skills. I'm not the tech geek everyone makes me out to be, Hayden tells him. I'm just very good at taking credit for other people's work. I think I get it from my father. He was uniquely skilled at stomping on fingers as he climbed the corporate ladder. Hayden studies Starky for a moment, and Starky just smiles back. Something wrong? No, Hayden says. I was just wondering if you're thinking of stealing my position. Not that I care. I wouldn't mind working food service for a while, but it would help me to know what your intentions are. I just want to know how stuff works around here, that's all. Oh, says Hayden, you're one of those. Starky doesn't know what kind of those he's talking about, but he doesn't care as long as Hayden tells him what he wants to know. I have an ethnically diverse team here, Hayden tells him, proudly, going around the room. Tad is Japanese, Haley is Umber, Jeevan is Indian, and Esme is half Hispanic. I think her other half must be extraterrestrial because she's too damn smart to be all human. Esme preens proudly for a moment, then gets back to work cracking coded communications. We have Nassim, who's Muslim, working side by side with Lisbeth, who's Jewish, and guess what? They're in love. Bite me, says Nassim. Then Lisbeth punches him just hard enough to make it clear that it's true. Hayden points out the various monitoring consoles. There's a communications monitoring program running on this one. It can pull keywords out of anything from emails to phone conversations. It can warn us if the juvie cops are up to something major, kind of an early warning system originally developed to fight terrorism. But isn't it nice to know we can now use it for civilian purposes? So what do we do if it says things are getting dangerous? Damned if I know, Hayden says. That's Connor's department. There's a console from which Hayden creates playlists and runs interviews for his Radio Free Hayden show. You realize that it doesn't broadcast any farther than you can shout, Starky tells him with a smirk. Of course not, Hayden says. If it did, then the juvies could pick it up. If no one's listening, then who's it for? First off, says Hayden, your assumption that no one is listening is incorrect. I estimate that I have at least 5 or 6 listeners at any given time. Yes, says Tad. He means us. And second, Hayden says, not denying it, it's preparing me for a career in broadcasting, which I plan to pursue once I turn 17 and get out of this place. Not hanging around to help Connor, huh? My loyalty has the half-life of unpasteurized milk, Hayden tells him. I'd take a bullet for Connor, and he knows it, but only until I'm 17. It all seems pretty straightforward until Esme says, I thought you already were 17. Hayden shifts his shoulders uncomfortably. Last year didn't count. Next to Jeevan is a printout, a list of names, addresses, and dates. Starky picks it up. What's this? Our good man Jeeves here is responsible for getting us a list of all the kids slated for unwinding from here all the way to Phoenix. These are the kids for your rescue missions? Not all of them, Hayden says. We pick and choose. We can't save everyone, and we do what we can. He points out the highlighted names, the ones chosen for rescue, and as Starky looks over the list, he starts to get angry. There's information about each kid, including birth dates, except for the ones who don't have a birth date. Instead, a stork date is listed. None of the stork kids are highlighted. So you and Connor don't like saving stork kids? Starky asks, not even attempting to hide the chill in his voice. Hayden looks genuinely perplexed and takes the list to look at it. I hadn't noticed. Anyway, it's not part of our criteria. We look for only children in dimly lit suburban neighborhoods. It means fewer people to squeal on us and less of a chance of being seen. See, brothers and sisters can't keep their mouths shut no matter what we threaten them with. I guess mothers who stork babies mostly give them to people who are parents already. Hard to find a storked only child. Well, says Starky, maybe we need to change the criteria. Hayden shrugs like it's nothing, like it doesn't really matter, and it just makes Starky angrier. Take it up with Connor, he says, then goes on with the grand tour of the communications center. But Starky's not listening anymore. The revelation in the comm bomb gives Starky a game-changing idea. One by one, he singles out all the stork kids in the graveyard. It's not an easy task because most stork want to keep their storking a shameful secret. Starky, however, makes no secret of his own doorstep arrival, and soon the stork kids begin to seek him out, seeing him as their champion. As it turns out, a full fourth of the graveyard population are storks. He keeps that information to himself. The girl named Bam, who at first hated him because he took her place in the Holy of Holies, warms to him quickly because she's a stork as well. If you want your revenge on Connor, be patient, he tells her. It will come. She reluctantly takes his word for it. One day Starky catches Connor when he's busy supervising the dismantling of an engine. Is there a buyer for it, or are they going to put it up for sale? Starky asks pleasantly. They asked for it in the front office. That's all I know. The engine says Rolls-Royce. I thought they only made cars. Nope. Starky keeps chatting about pointless stuff until he's sure that Connor is irritated at having to divide his attention between the engine and Starky. That's when Starky pulls out what he's been hiding up his sleeve. Listen, I've been thinking. You know I was storked, right? And well, you know, it's nothing big, but I thought it might be nice to make some special reserve time just for stork kids at the rec jet. Just to show them they won't be discriminated against anymore. Yeah, sure, Connor says as he stares at the engine, happy to be ending the conversation. He never even realizes what he's just given away. Starky calls his little group the Stork Club and stakes out the hour between 7 and 8 every evening. While everyone's looking somewhere else, a new class distinction rises within the graveyard. The Stork Club is the only minority with a special members only time at the rec jet. It's a taste of privilege that these kids have never had before, and Starky wants them to gobble it up. He wants them to get used to it. He wants them all to expect it and to know that Starky can deliver. Since Starky runs food services, members of the Stork Club start replacing others in serving positions and dole out larger servings to other storks with a wink. In the Holy of Holies, the only ones who seemed wise to these little creeping alliances are Ashley, whose job it is to root out social flare points, and that obnoxious Sherman kid who replaced John as head of waste and sanitation. It turns out Ralphie was easily bribed to look the other way, and as for Ashley, Starky pretty much has it under control. What if giving storks special treatment creates resentment in the general population? Ashley asks him as he supervises dinner one night. Well, Starky tells her with a mildly seductive smile, the general population can kiss my ass. It makes Ashley blush just a little bit. Just try to keep a low profile, okay? Still beaming charm, he says, it's what I do best, and serves her a nice heaping portion, all the while calculating how much she might secretly play into his plans. You're a hard guy to read, she tells him. I'd really like to get inside your head. To which he responds, the feeling's mutual. Each night during the stork hour at the rec jet, Starky plants tiny seeds of discontent over games of pool and ping pong. Nothing so blatant as fomenting a revolution, just innocent suggestions to encourage certain directions of thought. I think Connor's done a good job for a guy who's not all that smart, he tells them offhandedly. Or, I really like Connor. He's not much of a leader, but isn't he a great guy? Starky never shows any open defiance that would be counterproductive. It's not about tearing Connor down. It's about rotting out his roots. He won't even suggest that he should be the one taking Connor's place. That suggestion will eventually come from other storks, and all on their own, without any prompting from him. He knows it will happen because he knows that every stork kid deep down dreams of a world where they're not considered second-class citizens. That makes Starky more than just the leader of a club. It makes him the hope for a stork salvation.